How do gas stations set the price per gallon? 10 factors affect the price you pay at the pump, 4 of which are linked to the fuel type, and the rest correlated with global market trends, as well as factors internal to the gas station. Gas prices are among the most recognizable price point in American commerce, and with good reason. Approximately 45 million Americans fill up their vehicles every day, and gas purchases account for approximately 6 to 8% of consumer household spending every year. Consumers recognize when gas prices change, sometimes so much that they are willing to drive 15 minutes out of their way just to save a few cents on a gallon. Find out more. Welcome back to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about how gas stations across the country set the price per gallon. Let's first talk about what's in a gallon of fuel. Gas prices are ultimately affected by 4 sets of costs. 4. Crude oil, taxes, refining, and distribution and marketing. Let me repeat that. Crude oil, taxes, refining, and finally, distribution and marketing. The cost after the fuel leaves the refinery. Now, this 4 sets of costs were first reported by the United States Energy Information Administration, which does comprehensive research around gas prices. Crude oil prices have the biggest impact on retail gas prices. Given that there are 42 gallons in a barrel, a rough calculation is that retail gas prices move approximately 2.5 cents per gallon for every $1 change in the price of a barrel of crude oil. While this is not an exact calculation, it helps demonstrate that as crude oil prices change, so does the price of retail gas. Retailers selling fuel accounts for expenses like taxes, including a federal excise tax of 18.3% per gallon for gas, or a 24.3 cents per gallon excise tax for diesel. Now let's talk about, we have on screen right now, we did a screenshot of some information we got from the EIA website. EIA stands for Energy Information Administration. So how much tax do we pay on a gallon of gasoline and on a gallon of diesel? So as I said before, for gasoline, it's 18.4 cents. And for diesel, it's 24.4. Now the average of total state taxes are for gasoline, 29.76 and 31.78 for diesel. Federal taxes include excise taxes of 18.3% per gallon and 24.3 per gallon on gasoline and 24.3 cents per gallon on diesel fuel. Now there is, and this is very important, according to the United States Energy Information Administration, there is a leaking underground storage tank fee of 0.1 cents per gallon on both fuels. Now state taxes include rates on general application, including but not limited to excise taxes, environmental taxes, special taxes, and inspection fees, but they exclude state taxes based on gross or net receipts. State taxes do not include county and local taxes. All right, now let's move on to, we have another beautiful chart here sent to us by our friends at TitleMax.com. And you can see here, they've done a great job. They've done some analysis here, and they have the average cost of common amenities compared to the average cost of gasoline from 2000 to 2015. So over a 15-year span, they analyze, for example, everything from milk to bread to electricity and compare that to bananas. And they also, of course, analyze the gas price. As you can see on the screen, gas prices started in 2000, and it went from $2.02 all the way to $3.61 rather in around 2008, and then dropped to around $3.02. that was around the financial crisis. So you can see that, and the gas price is the one in black or dark blue, right? So you can see the evolution of your gas price over a 15-year period. That kind of tells you that there is no real correlation, if you will, between the staples that we have and with gas prices. The only one, which is a little interesting, and it was very interesting for us when we were doing research, was that the average price of milk, dollars per gallon, seems to be correlated with the average price of gas, right? The first two lines, as you can see, you have milk and then gas. There seems to be some kind of correlation, and we were not able to find that out. If anybody knows the answer, please write them in the comments. We really need to know if there's some experts, economics, some economists in the viewership. Let us know. But this is what we noticed. All right, I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are still having a conversation here around how gas stations set the price per gallon. Now, let's talk about ownership and supply arrangements. As I said before, 10 factors affect the price you pay at the pump, 4 of which are linked to the fuel type, and the rest correlated with gradual market trends, global market trends, as well as factors internal to the gas station. Now, less than 0.3% of all convenience stores selling fuels today are owned by one of the major oil companies. That's a very tiny amount, less than 0.3. And about another 4% are owned by a refining company. So regardless of the brand of fuel sold, most convenience stores, and I'm talking here about more than 95%, they are owned by independent companies, whether one store operators or regional chains. Each of these companies has different business strategies, which can dictate the type of fuel, the category of fuel they buy, and how they sell it. Now, let me talk about the 4 factors, the 4 broad factors that are linked to the fuel type. The first one is the fuel type itself, the fuel itself. So typically, stores that sell fuel under the brand name of a refiner, they pay a premium for that fuel, which covers marketing support and signage, as well as the proprietary fuel's additive package. These branded stores also tend to face less wholesale price volatility when there are supply disruptions. That's the first factor. Second, the delivery method. You got to pay attention to that, and that affects also the price you see at the gas station. So retailers who purchase fuels via dealer tank wagon, they have the fuel delivered directly to the station by the refiner. They may pay a higher price than those who receive their fuels at the rack or terminal. In addition, a retailer may contact with a jobber to deliver the fuel to his or her stations or operate his or her own trucks. The choice will influence the retailer's overall cost. And that makes sense. The third factor that is linked to the fuel type is the length of contract. Generally, you have contracts spanning anywhere from 5 to 10 years. We've seen contracts spanning 25 years if there is a solid bond, a solid relationship between the refiner and the retailer. So the length of contract. So even if they sell unbranded fuels, retailers may have long-term contracts with a specific refiner. The length of the contract, which can be, as I said before, 10 years, sometimes longer, and the associated terms of that contract can affect the price that retailers pay for fuels. And the fourth element here that you gotta pay attention to is the volume. As in virtually every other business, retailers may get a better deal based on the amount of fuels that they purchase, whether based on volume per store or total number of stores. So when you have those independent chains, they usually have a better deal because they buy in bulk. So even within a specific company, say, stores may not have each of the same arrangements, since companies often sell multiple brands of fuels, especially if they have acquired sites with existing supply contracts. All right, so the 4 factors that affect the 4 Fuel linked factors that affect the price you pay at the pump are the fuel type, the delivery method, how the retailer got it, the length of contract, and the volume. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are also having a conversation here around how the gas stations set the price per gallon. If you love the content's clarity and quality so far, and you would like to support us, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so that you are informed whenever we drop a new show, and we do this every single day. Just smash the like button, share this content, and comment below. Now let's talk about the sales strategies that affect gas prices. I've told you that there are 10 factors, 4 of which are linked to the fuel itself, and the other 6 that are linked to other factors. Now let's talk about those 6 factors. Store sales tactics. So fuel retailers face the same question as all other retailers, right? Do you want to sell at a low profit per unit and make up for it on volume, or sell at a higher profit per unit and expect less volume? So that tactics will dictate the price you finally pay at the pump. The location can be a great factor. For example, stores in areas where real estate costs are high may pass along this cost of business when setting their retail fuel prices. Some stores may factor in seasonality, particularly if they are in a location where customer traffic dramatically changes during the summer and winter months, and other stores may be located in a competitive market where consumers have ample choice of where to shop. Let's talk about the third element here: wholesale gas price changes. So competing retailers in a given neighborhood or city may have very different wholesale prices based on the terms of their fuel purchase and when they purchase their fuel, especially during times of extreme price volatility. Remember that gas is a commodity and its wholesale price can have wild swings. It's not, therefore, unusual to see wholesale price swings of 10 cents or more in a given day. You also have another factor is the store turnover. So depending on sales volume and storage capacity, retailers can receive as many as 3 deliveries a day or as few as 1 delivery every 3 days. Due to competition for customers, retailers may not be able to adjust their prices in response to an increase in wholesale prices because their competition may not have incurred a similar increase in their cost of goods sold. Okay? Conversely, though, a retailer may adjust gas prices when the competition adjusts prices either following or in advance of a shipment. So those are 4 factors you have to pay attention to, and those 4 factors affect the final price you pay at the pump. There are 2 more. Remember I said there were 6. There are 2 more. Let's talk about contracts. Now, how retailers buy fuel, how the store operator buys fuel can play a significant role in pricing strategy, because you have to understand that retailers generally sign long-term contracts. 10 years is the norm, and these contracts may dictate the amount and frequency of their shipments. When suppliers are tight, retailers with long-term contracts may have lower wholesale costs than retailers who compete for a limited supply on the open market. When supplies are constrained, those with long-term contracts may face allocations. You have to understand, because a maximum amount of fuel that they may obtain, that's called allocation, on the amount of fuel they receive, whereas those without such contracts may be unable altogether to purchase fuel for a period of time or be forced to pay a significant premium. And we've seen this in periods of in moments of scarcity. Those retailers without contract are forced to pay a significant premium. That's why their gas prices always go, their prices at their pumps is astronomically high. And now we also have the brand. So the brand is important. So where the retailer buys fuel also affects pricing strategies. So branded retailers often pay a premium for fuel in exchange for marketing support, imaging, and other benefits. Branded retailers typically have the least choice in how they obtain fuel or at what price, but that is offset by the benefits that a brand provides. Each of these factors adds a lot of complexity to a retailer's pricing strategy, and they can create unusual market dynamics. There are moments when the retailer with the highest posted price in a given area could be making the least profit per gallon based on when, how, and where the fuel was purchased. So no matter what their pricing strategy is, retailers tend to reduce their markup to remain competitive with nearby stores when their wholesale gas prices increase. And this can lead to a several-day lag from the time wholesale prices rise until retail prices rise. Similarly, when wholesale gas prices decrease, retailers may be able to extend their markup and recover most lost profits, with retail gas prices dropping slower than wholesale prices. All right, I'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are about to finish today's conversation, and I was talking to you about how do gas stations set the price per gallon. Let me give you some pro tips here. And those are insights we have garnered, the insight that will save you drive time and a few tenths of a penny. Why is the gas cheaper across the street? Those are questions that we have received from our community members, and we decided to answer three. The first question that was sent to us was, why is the gas cheaper across the street? Now, the guy across the street could be locked into a cheaper distribution contract. He might have filled his tanks when prices were down, or he is squeezing his margin, or even taking a loss to divert customers from the competition. Okay, so that's why the gas could be cheaper across the street. The second question that our community members were sent to us was, why is gas priced to 9/10 of a cent? Why is gas priced to 9/10 of a cent? Now, this is because after the war around in the 40s, 1940s, late 1940s to early 1950s, a penny bump in price was a significant hike. So retailers raised prices by fractions of a cent. So this is just a leftover tradition that became pure marketing. So sometimes you have 1.29, 910, and that looks more inviting than, say, 130. All right. Now, the third question that was sent to us was, do rundown, no-name stations sell bad gas? So let's say the lack of, say, a Phillips 66 sign out front only means the station is not contracted to sell that brand's gas. So depending on prices, it may be selling it, and if not, it's pumping unbranded, but still EPA approved fuel. So truly bad gas is rare because most states inspect at random and often. All right, so let's just do a quick recap here, what we talked about today. I spoke to you about what's in a gallon of fuel, the ownership and supply arrangement, the sales strategies that affect gas prices, and I give you a few pro tips. All right, thank you so much for listening. Now you know how gas stations set the price per gallon. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.